Great. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Schoolboy Rugby Bonanza, where we, of course, talk schoolboy rugby, and once again, schoolboy rugby. Right. As we all know, the past weekend has passed was and is the Noord Suid Tournament. It's still in progress until Tuesday. So we're not going to discuss the results and all the things that happens today. Today, while the tournament in Noord Suid is still ongoing, as soon as it's finished, we'll be sure to give you the result and discuss the results that we've got in hand. Today, our focus will be on the Easter festivals. As you all know, we're going to be at the St. John's.
Yes.
But besides the St. John's Festival, there's also 3 other tournaments, festivals that's going to take place. It's the Kearsney, the Saints Stithians one, as well as the Kearsney. And of course, to discuss it with me is, of course, our founder, Mr. Schoolboy Bonanza himself. Good evening, Louis.
Good evening, Steve. How are you?
I'm great, always. I hope you are great.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here, happy to discuss the Easter festivals. As we know, 4 main Easter festivals happening across the country. 3 of them are in Joburg. So it's going to be a very exciting, very full and informative episode, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So first we will go to Kearsney College, as we know, down in Durban. They will also host the other Easter festival outside of Johannesburg. So this is also going to be a very good tournament. The schools that will participate over there. And I'm going to leave it over to you to discuss some of the schools, and then we take it from there.
Awesome. Yeah, the Kearsney College Festival, there's about 12 teams that's going to take part. I went through the list and also checked the rankings of the team. Now let's have a look at the Kearsney College. Now they of course are the host, traditional, one of your strongest teams that takes place, Kearsney College. One of the strongest teams in Natal, as well as one of your top teams in South Africa. They are ranked, according to the latest rankings, they are always traditionally ranked between 40 and 45th. That's basically where they rank. So they almost just inside the top 50, which is pretty good. You know, anything inside the top 100 is pretty brilliant. If you think about how many schools South Africa's got, I think we've got, last time it was more than 1,000 to 2,000 schools in South Africa, high schools. And you know, how many of them plays rugby? Maybe 500 to 1,000. I'm not quite sure. I would love to know the exact stats, but I can guarantee you it's more than 500 schools that participates in rugby. So to be in the top 100 always puts you in a position to be recognized and to be invited to the main festivals throughout South Africa and the main tournaments.
Yes.
So Kearsney College are the host from Natal, and they are ranked 40 to 45th. In South Africa. Next team is, of course, Glenwood. They are also traditionally one of your strongest teams in Natal, and they are always ranked between 30th and 40th, which is also pretty high up, which makes them a strong team. J.G. Jansen from Gauteng is also one of the teams from the Lions participating. Also a strong, just outside the top 20. They were ranked as high as 23rd. That is the recent ranking of J.G. Jansen, which is brilliant.
Sure,
to be ranked just outside the top 20 is brilliant. Look at this. Helpmekaar is also one of the entries, and they are ranked as high as 11th according to the recent rankings. And I think the reason for that is they had a pretty good start. I don't think they've lost a game yet in the season. And of course, last year they were also the finalists of the Noord World Cup.
Yes.
They're regular top 20 finishers. So to be ranked outside the top 10 is absolute brilliant. That's incredible. Hoërskool Swartkop is one of the young kids on the block. They've been there for years, but the improvement of Hoërskool Swartkop in the past few years has been incredible. Their rankings at this stage is as high as 38th. They've climbed to their rankings, and they are as high as 38th was the best that we've got from the latest rankings. a team that's one of the latest entrants. Of course, Hoërskool Swartkop and Transvaal wasn't included in the original settings. You can see there's a team from Italy, Verona, Italy. Now, apparently, to the latest sources, Verona, Italy has withdrawn from the tournament, as well as the Catholic school from Ireland. The Catholic secondary school from Ireland have withdrawn. And they have been replaced by Hoërskool Swartkop, that is ranked 38th in South Africa, and Hoërskool Transvaal, also a school from Gauteng that's currently also lies between 30th and 35th. So it's two strong teams. That is no mucks when it comes to rugby.
Yes.
One of the other entrants or schools is Hoërskool Framesby High, and they are ranked regularly between 42nd and 47th. That was the past rankings that they were ranked in. Then we've got a school from the Western Cape participating, Hoërskool Millerton. Strong school, ranked just outside the top 20. And they've got a ranking of 22nd. Hoërskool Rustenburg is also another school that's going to be part of the Kearsney Festival, and also a strong school that's ranked inside the top 40, normally between 55th and 40th, according to the latest ranking. And then we do have a school from outside South Africa, and it's Peterhouse High from Zimbabwe. And according to the national rankings from Zimbabwe, Peterhouse is a regular top 3, one of the top 3 schools in Zimbabwe. So it's, it's a real strong team. And absolutely. And don't take them away. Zimbabwe is known for their strong schools. I think the only challenge they've got is to maintain and to keep the players inside Zimbabwe. Because a lot of those players get attracted to South Africa and to Currie Cup teams, so they don't necessarily stay within the structure. But Zimbabwe's got a couple of good teams, including St. John's, that's also going to be at one of the Easter festivals, which we will discuss.
Yes.
Awesome. As we look at the fixtures, first day the tournament officially starts. Helpmekaar versus Glenwood will be the first game, Louis. That could be quite an interesting game.
Early in the morning, I think that's going to be setting the pace for the rest of the day. I mean, two powerhouses, as we know. So I think for them starting off early morning on Thursday, that's going to set the pace for the rest of the day. So that's going to be an interesting one. I think it will be a close game, in my opinion. I don't think there's going to be much between the two of them. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely. Followed by Framesby versus the Zimbabwean school, the top one of the top schools in Zimbabwe, one of the powerhouses of Zimbabwe schools.
Yes.
That is also going to be, and as we said, Framesby is also a team ranked just outside the top 14 in South Africa. So that's also going to be an outstanding match. And then, of course,
just another thing on Framesby.
Yes.
The season has only started yet. So we've only like 2 or 3 weeks into the season, but Framesby has been really outstanding so far. So I think they are quietly making a statement. Maybe they will catch 1 or 2 teams off guard. But they've really been playing good rugby. So I'm very excited to see them play, and especially against one of the top teams in Zim. So this, I think, is also going to be a cracker of a game.
Oh, yes. 2 teams I haven't mentioned yet is, of course, the 2 powerhouses from Durban High School. That's also going to be in the tournament. And then the next game, Westville High. Now, both those teams are, according to the rankings, they are ranked inside the top 10. Durban High was as high as 8th last year. They finished on 8th. And Westville finished last year, according to the rankings, at 9th. So both teams, the 2 Durban powerhouses of the tournament, Durban High and Westville, are ranked inside the top 10 in South Africa, which makes it a classic match. Now, of course, those 2 opening games for them against the Irish team and the Italy team of course, will change. So Westville will most probably take on either Transvalia or Swartkop, and Durban High will most probably take on Swartkop or Transvalia, depending on how
Yes,
they're going to
depending on
group
how
the two.
they structure it.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Kearsney versus Rustenburg at 1 o'clock. The host against Rustenburg, and as we said, Rustenburg also ranked just inside the top 40 of South Africa. And Kearsney College, of course, the same, just outside the top 40. So that's going to be a very close competitive game if you look at the rankings. Both of them are really close.
Yes.
Milnerton, our team from the Western Cape, against Ege Jansen from Joburg, from the Lions. As we said, Ege Jansen 23rd in South Africa, and Milnerton, of course, is ranked 22nd. So that is a very closely grouped match. I think that can also be a cracker of a game.
I also think so, because give or take, they are one place from each other within the rankings. So it gives you this idea of they are more or less on the same level. So
Yes.
I think this will be a very good game. And I think also the one who is disciplined and plays according to their game plan and put the structures in place, I think that is the team that's going to come out on top.
Absolutely. Saturday, it starts again at 8 o'clock, and the opening game of Saturday will, of course, be the Zimbabwean powerhouse Peterhouse against Milnerton from the Western Cape, which can be also a cracker of a game.
Yes.
Durban High will take on Rustenburg. That can also, I'm also looking into that. And then, of course, as we know, Verona has been replaced by Swartkop or Transvalia. So one of those two will play against Ege Jansen. And then, of course, Kearsney at 2:20 will take on either Transvalia or Swartkop, also depending on how they're going to change that. This was the latest fixtures that we got.
Yes.
Glenwood versus Fransbury at 1 o'clock. That could be an interesting game. Glenwood, a team that's ranked just outside the top 50, and Fransbury is ranked just outside the top 40. So that can be also a very close game to watch. And a game, absolutely,
that will be an entertaining game.
Absolutely, a game I'm looking forward to. That's going to be a cracker of game. Westville, one of your top 10 schools in South Africa, against Helpmekaar, that is ranked just outside the top 10. Now, that can be a crucial, incredible game for the teams to stake their claims inside the top 10.
This is going to be a mouth-watering game. And I think that so much is riding on this game. And I think also this will set the tone for these two teams, who is going to be in the top 10 or just outside of the top 10.
Absolutely. Monday is the final day of the tournament. Helpmekaar will start the day against Fransbury at 8 o'clock. Glenwood, of course, will take on Ege Jansen from the Lions. And then your powerhouse of Zimbabwe, Peterhouse, will take on Rustenburg High School. Of course, we said that Rustenburg is ranked just outside the top 20. Just outside the top 50, between 35th and 40th. Westville, one of your top 10 schools of last year, will take on Milnerton, a school that is ranked just outside the top 20, 22nd. So that can be a very interesting game.
Yes.
And then, of course, we all know that Ireland, the school from Ireland, the Catholic school, and the school from Italy won't be part. So Durban High will most probably play either against Swartkop or Transvalia, and Kearsney the same. That is depending on the matches. Note that matches and the schedule are subject to change according to the organizers and according to latest changes. So this is not 100% set in stone, but this was the latest that we got according to the fixture list from today.
And also to just stand still on Monday, the game between Peterhouse and Rustenburg, I think that will probably be the highlight of Monday. Because I think if you look at the standard of South African schoolboy rugby versus Zim Schoolboy Rugby, I think these two teams are more or less on the same level. So I think this is also going to be a very close game. And I really do hope it is a close game because it is always nice to see the so-called underdogs rising up to the occasion.
Oh, yes. Of course, a lot of eyes are on Zimbabwe rugby this year, especially because of the fact that they qualified for the World Cup. So it's great for their future to have a school, two of their schools participating at the Easter festivals in South
Oh,
Africa this year.
wow.
And two of the top three schools, Peter House at Kearsney, and then, of course, St. John's will also be at one of the Transvaal. We will look at them later on
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
program.
that's interesting.
So
Wouldn't
that's
that
the
give the people from Zimbabwe, the rugby players, the young players, so much more encouragement to see two of their schools now participating in the Easter Festival, their national team qualified for the Rugby World Cup. Isn't that
it's
amazing?
it's good for Zimbabwe rugby, and it's
Yes,
great that they are part of the tournament and that we're helping with the development. That's very positive, and I think the more we can help them from grassroots, the better it is for Zimbabwe, Zim rugby to also get up, and hopefully we can see an African team besides of Africa winning a World Cup game for the first time in history this year.
yes. And don't you
Next year,
think it would be nice if in the future, because Africa is so big, if more countries in Africa can play rugby, that you literally have a tournament or fixtures within the African continent between the different countries. Wouldn't
oh
that be
yes,
nice?
it's great. It's great for rugby to have to attract teams from outside South Africa, from Africa to the tournament. I believe Hoërskool Windhoek from Namibia will also be at one of the festivals, and we're also going to look at them later on.
Hmm.
So that's going to be interesting. All right, moving on to the next one, of course, is Kees.
Yes. And
Now the host, yeah.
this is one of they used to participate at St. John's, and I think if I'm not mistaken, in 2002, they decided to host their own festival. As we know, St. John's and Kes are
Yeah.
neighbors. So when you go to the St. John's Festival, you can walk over to Kes and watch a game or two and then go back. So this is actually quite nice. So you've got quite a lot more teams within these two schools participating, and you can go either or and see which ones you really want to go and watch, which I think is very good.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's mouth-watering stuff to see the amount of rugby that's going to be played in Eastern. Besides the tournaments that we are covering, I believe there's other festivals also right over South Africa. I believe that Pretoria Boys High is also got a tournament in that period.
Yes.
Let's have a look quickly at the teams that's going to participate. First of all, the host, Kees. They are one of your top-tier teams in South Africa. The current ranked 14th,
Yes.
according to the latest rankings in South Africa. So a team that's consistently ranked inside the top 20, and that, of course, on the day can beat any school in South Africa. Then we've got a school from outside South Africa, and it's, of course, a team all the way from Australia. Now, Australia's got two teams that's going to be participating at the Easter festivals.
Yes.
The St. John's team, we've got a team called Naji College that's
Yes.
going to be at the festival. We actually had an interview with the coach of Naji College,
Yes.
a very,
And what a very pleasant and fun interview was that.
brilliant. Oh, yes. And I love the structure of the school and the depth that the school has to offer. Now, Cranbrook is a school from Australia. Now, Australia don't have according to the info I received, they don't have a national ranking. Their ranking is pretty much based on regionals.
Yes.
Now, Cranbrook School, according to the rankings, were ranked third in their region. So that's one of the top teams in the league that they participate, and they were ranked as high as third.
Oh, wow.
St. Andrews, yeah, it's brilliant. So it's a top team from Australia that's going to be taking part. Another team that's going to be interesting to watch is St Andrews College. I think they're from the Eastern Cape. They are ranked as high as 24th in South Africa, just outside the top 20, which is brilliant. Then Queen's College will also be at the festival. Also a team ranked just outside the top 20. They were ranked 26th, I think, at the end of 2025.
It's interesting because if you remember and recall, when we were at school, well, listen, we're not going to give our age away, but when we were at school, Queen's College back then used to be always within the top 20. And even later on, still in the top 20. And it seems from the just after the 2010 World Cup, they almost fell off the bus and you didn't see them as much featured within the top 20. And that is actually sad that this happened. So I really hope they can come to this festival and really make a statement to show the people they deserve to be within the top schools in the country.
Well, they're still not too far behind the top 20. They're currently ranked 26, which means that they're still inside the top 50. So they're pretty much still consistent. But I hear what you say.
Yes.
So it's a good statement one. Dale College will also be at the festival. Now, they were ranked as low as 73rd at the end of 2025, but still to be in the top 100. But they actually had a pretty good start for 2026. They're currently undefeated in 2026. They haven't lost a game from the first 3 games they played.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So the prediction is that they will move, if the latest ranking is available, they could move us very well and very sizably inside the top 50, top 40 due to that.
Oh, that's
so. Check the space for Dale College.
Yes.
Norwood School is also one of your top tier schools. They are ranked 17th according to the latest rankings. Right. So it's a top 20 school. So they're going to be very interesting. Hoërskool Noord is also a school that's ranked inside the top 20. They are ranked 15th in South Africa.
Yes.
And then we've got
also with Noord, since the beginning of this year, yes, the season is still young, but as far as I recall, they haven't lost a game as yet. That is something very interesting. And it seems a lot of these teams haven't lost a game yet. So they are carrying quite a lot of momentum coming into this Easter festival. So this will be very exciting to see.
Absolutely. Hoër Landbou School from Marlow. It's also a school that's regularly inside the top 50. They finished on 45th at the end of 2025. So also a good school to look out to. Then, of course, a school that we know, Louis, is, of course, Hoërskool Alderrein. I believe we went to watch we went to watch a match between Randburg and Alderrein last year.
Yes, correct. Against our alma mater. So unfortunately they lost quite bad. But it's a team that is one of the best Pretoria schools. And I think given on the day, they can give you a scare, and it's going to be very exciting to see. The way they played last year was really very good, and let's see what they will come up with for 2026.
Absolutely. They, of course, also rank inside the top 100, which is, to be, as I said, to be ranked inside the top 100 gives you recognition to be invited and gives you a position to be invited to the top festivals.
Right.
To be inside top 100 is a huge, huge achievement. As I said, we probably have close to 1,000 schools participating. And there's a lot of schools that doesn't even have a top 200 ranking in South Africa that plays rugby. So Hoërskool Alderrein, they were ranked 90th at the end of 2025. Of course, those clips that we that we posted about the Randburg Alderrein game, you can also catch on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
We posted a couple of clips where we talked about the matches and gave a preview of all the matches that took place and so on. And that you can actually catch those clips as shorts on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So Hoërskool Oudtshoorn is ranked 90th. Then the other three schools that's going to be participating is Hudson Park. They
Yes.
are ranked 82nd in South Africa.
Yes.
Pearson College, a school that's ranked 61st. And then a school that you also know, Louis, is Woestergym.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Also quite a competitive school.
Yes.
They are ranked.
Definitely.
They're one of the top schools in Boland, I believe.
Yes.
And they are ranked 70th. Was the latest ranking I had.
Okay. So it's a bit of a mix and a match, it seems, but I think it's a good mix, right?
Yeah, it's going to be very competitive. As I said, all of these teams are ranked inside the top 100, so it makes for some very, very competitive rugby and skillful rugby with quality. Unlike the other festivals, the Case Festival starts on the Saturdays, only 2 days instead of 3 days.
Yes, and this is very interesting. Very interesting.
And those are the games for Monday, of course, starting with the Hoërskool Oudtshoorn against Hudson Park. And then Woestergym versus Dale can be quite an interesting game. That will be a game I would be interested in.
Yes.
11:30 Hoërskool Noord against Hoërskool Landbou School Marlow. And then a game that can be also very interesting, of course, is Pearson, ranked 61th in South Africa, against one of the top teams in Australia in their region, Cranbrook School. It will be very interesting to see how Cranbrook is going to play in South African conditions.
Right.
Northwood School at 2 o'clock up against St. Andrew's College. And then to finish off the tournament, the final game, Kearsney, ranked inside the top 20 against Queen's College, as we said, ranked just outside the top 20. That can be a very interesting game to finish off the festival.
I think this is going to be a very good game to finish off their Easter Festival tournament. As we know from Kees, they always bring die gees. Hulle bring die gees. And it is loud, it is crazy, and you can see that whole school stands behind that red jersey of kids. So that's going to be a very, very good game.
Absolutely. That will basically be your Kees Festival.
Yes.
Okay, the St. John's College, we're not going to look at the matches for this episode, since we are going to watch. So that we will tell you later on. I think that will be a different episode, if that's okay, Mr. Schoolboy. I would like us to have a look at the Stithians Festival. So St. John's Festival we'll discuss on a later episode, since we're going to be there personally, of course. But the St. Stithians College, that is going to be also a very, very mouth-watering festival with lots of interesting top-class schools that's going to participate.
And before we delve into this, now, St. Stithians, their Easter Festival is the oldest one within South Africa. They started years, almost 40 years ago, with the Easter Festival, where for many years it was only rugby. But over the years, and especially just before COVID and after COVID, because since 1995, they added the girls' school. So now what they've done, so it's rugby, tennis, netball, soccer, squash, what is the other one? Astro hockey, water polo, and I think tennis. So you've got 8 sports. So now they call this the Easter Fest, not Rugby Festival, but Easter Fest. And 2024, I was there. And Steve, so many people, but everything, how they coordinated all the sports finished so that everyone can go and watch St. Stithians play the very last game of every day of the festival. And That stadium is packed to the brim. At one stage, we were literally sitting like sardines, you know, but it was such a good atmosphere and a vibe. So well done on them. And they've really branched out and reached more sports boys and girls by doing this to add all these sports. So well
Oh,
done
yes.
on this.
Oh, yes. The Easter festivals are huge. It's one of the highlights of African schoolboy rugby. It's something that I actually looking forward to. Of course, I will also be covering the match rates of those games. But so it's absolutely huge. It's huge.
Right,
Right. Let's have a look at the teams.
right.
Um, Before we look at the fixtures, of course, let me just quickly run through the teams. Stithians, the host, are ranked normally between the top 50 and top 40, top 50, between 50th and 45th in South Africa. So it's a strong, one of your strong schools in South Africa. Their current ranking in South Africa is 32nd,
Right.
which means that they are a pretty strong competitive team.
Yes.
Definitely a team that can be reckoned with. Then Clifton College are also the other participant. They are ranked 57th in South Africa, just outside the top 50, but well inside the top 100, which means that they are a pretty strong competitor. Then we've got an invitational team, of course, from Gasfontein, so which means that obviously they don't have a ranking. The Gasfontein Invitational Boys team will be pretty interesting to see them also play.
Yes.
And then we've got a team from the UK, Hartpury College, all the way from the UK. Now, they're also a top-ranked team in the United Kingdom, and apparently they were the finalists at the nationals last year. So this means that they mean serious business. This is a top quality school. That's here to mean they are here to play. Absolutely.
Right.
I'm not quite sure. They say Helpmekaar is going to be part of this tournament. I'm not sure. I don't see them in the fixtures, but according to the list, they were part. But I don't think they basically at Kearsney, so I don't think that's possible. Kempton Park from the Lions are ranked 77 in South Africa, just inside the top 80. Also a very strong school. And then we've got a foundational team, the Marley Foundation team, which is of course a developmental developing team that's going to be part of the tournament. And now that will be interesting to see how they're going to participate. Of course, it's probably players from different regions that's going to be part of this foundation team. And I think it's a great initiative to also
definitely
sow something back into the grassroots and, to send through a team, the developing team to participate.
Yes.
One of your top teams in Mpumalanga, Hoërskool Middelburg, is going to be it's going to be there. It's of course a regular top 50 in South Africa, a team that's regularly in the top 50. And then of course Hoërskool Pietersburg, a team that finished 43rd in South Africa at the end of 2025.
Oh wow.
Then we've got a school, St. Charles, also a strong team that's normally ranked between 50th and 65th in South Africa in 2025. They were consistently between top 50 and top 65.
Right.
And then we've got two visiting teams. One from Zimbabwe, the St. John's College. As I said, a strong team from Zimbabwe. One of your traditional strong teams of Zimbabwe, always one of your top teams in Zimbabwe. Well known. You also know them well, Louis.
Yes, I do. Because usually, they are invited to the St. John's Joburg Festival. Same jerseys, same everything, but from Harare. So it's actually very good to see that they are invited to St. Stithians for a change. And I think, as they always say, a change of scenery is good for you. So maybe this will also be good for them. And if they want to rotate between the three Joburg Easter festivals, by all means. I mean, because they are a strong team, they are a competitive team, and it is a team that every time I went to St. John's College Easter festivals to watch them was really very good. And
Absolutely.
the one year I will this was years ago, in the early 2000s, they I don't know why they did this. So the very last game on the Saturday was St. John's College Joburg versus St. John's College Harare.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
So that was very interesting. And also because their jerseys are very similar. So the hosts had white jerseys, and everyone was like, why white? What's going on here? And then St. John's, St. John's. And that was actually very, very interesting to watch. And it was a
Brilliant.
very entertaining game.
St. John's, of course, as a consistent top three. And then another team from Namibia, that from outside Africa, that's going to be part, is Windhoek High School. Also, one of your strong powerhouses in Namibia. They also consistently ranked inside the top three in Namibia. So it's also one of your best schools, top school in Namibia. And then this is a huge team that's also going to be part of the Saints Festival. I would love to see them also. Wynberg from the Western Cape. It's also one of your top teams that's also always ranked just outside the top 10 even. Consistent top 15 team. And they actually finished just outside the top 10 last year, finished in 12th. Many of the rankings, remember, there's various rankings. There's about 3 to 4 sources that use rankings. There's actually a couple of rankings that suggested that they finished just inside the top 10. But I think the main sources agreed that they finished 12th at the end of 2025.
Right.
So all in all, the Saint Festival is going to be an incredible tournament to look out for. If you're in the area, please go to the Stithians Festival. It's going to be mouth-watering stuff.
Yes.
I need to add that the Hartbury College, which is great, a great thing, is not only is the first team coming, they've also bringing the second team.
Oh, wow.
over.
That's amazing.
So both the first team as well as the second team will be at the St. Stithians Festival.
Oh, that's nice. And also another school that is close to your heart is Northcliffe. They are also going to be there. So,
Of course. Yeah.
so I think while we are sitting at St. John's, I'm sure you are going to keep an eye on your side here in St. Stithians.
Absolutely. Northcliffe also, of course, finished just outside the top 70.
Yes.
Just inside the top 70. I think they finished as high as 69. I just need to check that again. But I know Northcliffe were 69th, just inside the top 10, top 70. They finished in 69th position at the end of 2025. Now, this is a team that was at one stage ranked outside the top 100.
Yes.
And they jumped up from outside the top 100, raced up right up to 69th in South Africa. And another great thing is, of course, they produced the Shuki brothers,
Yes.
Emmanuel and Vincent, that both plays for the Sharks. And one of the Nsuki brothers, of course, pardon the pronunciation, but one of the brothers, of course, also plays for South Africa, the Springboks last year in a test or two.
Yes. Yes.
So Northcliffe is one of your upcoming schools in Gauteng, and it's also a school that's very slowly but surely making strides inside the rankings. So it's a great initiative to include them, and I am looking forward to see Northcliffe playing in the tournament. Right, let's have a look at the fixtures. The first opening game, of course, that's an interesting game, is Hartbury's second team from the UK against the Namibian team.
Oh, that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, Hoërskool Windhoek against the UK second team. St. Stithians will start off their campaign for the Easter Festival against St. John's, the Zimbabwean school. That's going to be a mouth-watering game.
Oh, yes.
Marley up against Clifton. Marley, of course, is the invitational team, the development team, against Clifton from the KwaZulu-Natal. And one of our members actually asked us, why wasn't there any Natal schools at the Noord Suid Tournament? And I answered him on the group by saying it's unfortunate, but a heck of a lot of your Natal schools are part of the Easter Festival. So even though you might not see them part of the Noord Suid Tournament, watch out for the Natal schools in the Easter festivals throughout Gauteng.
And I think also to elaborate on that with the Noord Suid Tournament, North-South, because Joburg is in the north, Joburg, Pretoria is in the north. And we know Cape Town is more in the south. So I think this is how they structured it, because you can see a lot of the Cape schools are going to be there, your Gauteng schools. And I think this is how they structured it. From what I read, I went to do some research on this, because after everyone asked about the Natal schools, and it seems, okay, Joburg is north, Cape Town is south. That's why it's the North-South Tournament. So, which is actually a little bit sad, because it would be wonderful to see your Eastern Cape and your Natal schools and from other regions as well. But maybe in the future, this can change.
Absolutely. Next up, of course, another team from KwaZulu-Natal, St. Charles. They will, of course, take on the up-and-coming, the young kids from the block, Northcliffe. Kempton Park from the Vaal Triangle, as we used to know them in the older days. In the old days, Vaal Triangle used to be one of the provinces in the old settings of the Currie Cup.
Yes,
they will take on Pietersburg in their first opening game, and then this is going to be an interesting match. Hartpury from the UK against Middelburg, one of your regular top 50 performers in South Africa, ranked teams in South Africa. That's going to be a mouth-watering game.
yes.
And then to finish off day one, Wynberg, one of your top schools in the Western Cape, just outside the top 10, will be taking up Gasfontein Invitational team from the.
That's going to be a good game.
Oh yes, that's going to be a very, very competitive game.
Yes, because the Gasfontein Invitational side is a mixed side. So
yes,
we don't know who they are going to pick. So this is
absolutely
a team to watch for this festival.
Absolutely. If you thought day one was good, look out for day two. Hartpury College, second team from the UK against the Mali Invitational team. I think that is what a great opportunity for the Mali Invitational team to take on a team from the UK, a top team from the UK that was national finalists. St. Charles from Natal will take on Kempton Park from Vaal Triangle, and then St. John's from Zimbabwe will take on Clifton. I think that can also be, and in a game
that's going to be a mouth-watering one.
Absolutely. But a game I'm looking forward to is Windhoek from Namibia against Northcliffe.
Yes.
That will also show us how strong the depth in Namibia is when they take on Northcliffe, a team that's ranked 69th in South Africa against a team that's ranked 3rd in Namibia.
Yes.
Hartpury College up against Gasfontein Invitation. As we said, we're not quite sure what mixture of selection Gasfontein is going to bring to the table. And they're going to be taking up one of the powerhouses of the UK in a mouth-watering game. And then Pietersburg against Middelburg, two of your top schools in South Africa. Both top schools will be taken on the afternoon sessions. And then finishing off, the host, St. Stithians, will take on one of the powerhouses of the Western Cape, Wynberg. That can be
going to be a mouth-watering game. This is going to be something.
To finish off Saturday. Monday, also some great rugby to look forward. Windhoek will start off the day. They will finish their last game against the Mali Invitation team. And then, this is a great clash. Hartpury first team against Northcliffe. What a great great opportunity for Northcliffe to take on the United Kingdom team. I also know one of the team members of Northcliffe, and I would like to give a shout out to Carolyn Banda, and a huge congratulations for her son Matthew Banda. That is, of course, also part of the Northcliffe first team and second team structure. Huge congratulations. So Northcliffe will take on Hartbury. Garsfontein will be taking on Kempton Park. And then the Pietersburg, is that the final game of the tournament, Louis?
Yes, this is the final game. Very interesting with all your Easter festivals this year. It seems the Monday has been cut short. The reason why, I'm not sure. But with all your festivals so far, what I've seen, only a couple of games and then that's it. So very interesting.
Okay.
Very interesting. But I think that's also going to be a very good game to close the tournament. Petersburg versus St. John's Harare. I think that's also going to be a mouth-watering game to watch.
And of course, that's the three festivals. In a later episode, of course, we will talk about the St. John's because we're going to be at the St. John's Festival, our team, on the Saturday. So we will discuss it on a later episode, just before the St. John's Festival kick-off. We will, of course, have a special episode where we talk about the St. John's Festival.
Yes.
Which is going to be also a mouth-watering tournament. Of course, we spoke to about at least half of the team's coaches that's participating. We had an interview with almost five of the coaches that's going to be part of the festival.
Correct.
So that is going to be really, really interesting. So if you're in the area, whether you're at Kearsney College in the Durban area or in Joburg area, please come and support the boys. Tickets are available. I think it's available from 65 Rand, depending on whether you buy a day ticket or a week 3-day ticket. I think it's in the range of 65 to 300. And as I believe, you can either book it online or you can get it at the gates.
Yes.
And it's of course also a non-cash system that's going to be operated at the gates.
Yeah. So, and also we want to ask our viewers, if you are at these festivals, take your photos, take your videos, put it on our Facebook group. It would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
So that we can promote schoolboy rugby, not just in South Africa, but worldwide.
Awesome. Right, as we return now to the main screen.
Yep.
Some great rugby to look forward to. And as I said, if you're in the area, please come and give the boys the support. I promise you will not regret it. It's going to be some incredible rugby. I mean, if I must be honest, some of your most attractive rugby you can watch is schoolboy rugby. We talk about pure running, beautiful rugby. Yeah. You can't get more pure than schoolboy rugby. So it's going to be mouth-watering stuff.
Yeah. And also, it is wonderful to see that schools from outside of South Africa that has been invited to the different festivals. So I think that is a very good initiative. And
absolutely.
Let's hope this grows, because there are so many schools outside of the borders of South Africa and Africa for that matter. So let's really hope that this trend will follow in the years to come, because it would be wonderful to see these different schools from different countries participating on home soil.
Of course, all old school. Randburg High is going to be at the St. John's Festival, Louis.
Yes, Randburg is going to be at the St. John's Festival. As I said to the coach when we had the interview, I will be his wingman on Saturday. So, Steve, if you can't find me during that game, you should know where I'm at. So, yes, I'm looking forward to that. We promised and pledged our support for our alma mater. So, we will be there. I'm hoping that they will bring their game and that they will do us proud.
Awesome. To our members, thank you so much for your support throughout the podcast and the episodes. It's been overwhelming, fantastic. I would like to give a special shout out to some of our top contributors this past week. First of all, Rowan Malcolm Ferris from the Western Cape. Thank you so much for your contributions, your posts. It was highly appreciated. Also, Lian Nel, all the way from Nelspruit. Thank you so much for your contributions. And then, of course, a person that I also really, really respect and appreciate is one of our top contributors on social media when it comes to rugby support, Richard Witt. Thank you so much for your post. To all our members, we're a growing community. I think we are almost at 500, Louis. The last time I checked, we are at 497 members of our community.
We are touching 500. We really hope before the Easter Festival or even Noord Suid Tournament that's on Saturday that we will touch 500. And when we come to the Easter Festival, that we will be over 500. That is what our goal is. It would be fantastic to see this happen, and we just want to say thank you to everyone believing in our vision and taking part. I mean, we don't know everything. We stand to be corrected. And it's great to see that the guys are communicating and telling us, you guys were right, you guys were wrong. But we take it because we want to do the best we can for our community.
Absolutely. To our YouTube subscribers, thank you so much. If you're watching our videos on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and join our community. If you haven't joined our Facebook community, we are still a public group. Please join our Facebook group and become part of the Bonanza Mania, the Bonanza Maniacs.
Very true. Yes.
And then, of course, we would like to give a special shout out to our team, our staff and our team panel. That's part of the team that helps us behind the scenes and helps us with every single episode and podcast. A huge shout out to our journalist, the legend, Mr. Arlu. One of the greatest journalists you can ever have. Always part of the interviews. Very old school, but very efficient. It's great to have him part of the team. Also, a huge shout out and a thanks to our cameraman, Mr. Brian Dudley. That's also going to be at the Noord Suid Tournament.
Yes.
Part of helping us with the camera work. Also, we would like to give a huge shout out to one of our admins and also one of our promoters all the way from Ireland, Elaine Hogan. She does a lot of the behind the scenes work helping to promote schoolboy rugby, helping to promote schoolboy bonanza in Ireland, and also to create awareness and to see how we can also promote schoolboy rugby in Ireland and help to support schoolboy rugby in Ireland. So a huge shout out to Elaine. And then, of course, we would like to thank all our members. Without you, we won't have a talk show. Without you, we won't have a community. And without you, none of this that we are doing will be possible.
Correct.
Thank you so much. If you're going to be in the area at the Noord Suid, come say hello to us. You can recognize us with our shirts or with the Schoolboy Bonanza emblem. Come say hello. Give us a high five. Maybe take some photos. If you're at the Noord Suid, if you're at the St. John's Festival, come and say hello to us. Also them.
Yes.
Our next episode, of course, will be on Wednesday, where we will have a look at the St. John's Festival. And maybe if we've got the results available of the Noord Suid Tournament, we will also discuss that. If not, then we will focus on the St. John's and we will always look at the Noord Suid the next week.
Yes.
Until then, from our side, it's goodbye, good night, and God bless.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.